Hi guys, thanks for joining me. My name is Kieran of the One Zen Academy. I recently had some students talk about the behind the neck lat pull down, why it's good, why it's bad. And generally speaking, it's probably not the best for most people. Can people get away with it? Sure, definitely. Should people be doing it? Probably not. And I'm just going to give you the summary, the course notes as to why. Now, on the board, I've drawn a very crude image, the scribblings of my thought processes right now. And generally speaking, this here is your scapula, your shoulder blade. And this here represents your spine and your C-spine, or your cervical spine, your neck. And we have this muscle just here called your infraspinatus and your supraspinatus, and these make up two of your rotator cuffs. And the rotator cuffs generally help initiate movement or stabilize your glenohumeral joint. So we have your humerus, and it fits into a cavity called the glenoid cavity, okay, which is like a ball and socket joint. Unfortunately, in your arm, it's a very loose ball and socket joint. If you visualize a seal balancing a beach ball on its nose, that's what it looks like. It's a very unstable joint. And this is part of the bigger problem. So we know that we have these muscles here. We have the rhomboids, which attach your shoulder blade, your scapula, to your spine. And these can help retract your shoulder girdle. They can also stabilize your scapula against your spine when needed. We then have this fantastic muscle here called levator scapulae. Okay? And this muscle goes from the top of your shoulder blade into your C-spine. And this is kind of a stabilizing muscle between your shoulder blade and your neck, like an anchor. And when we're doing a behind the neck lat pull down, we have to then force our heads forward like this, force our heads forward. So we go into that hyperextension for the C-spine, and if we go into hyperextension, then we place this levator scapulae on a stretch. If we're doing that fast enough, we then stimulate the muscle spindles within that muscle. And the muscle spindles recognize they have a length tension relationship. So they're like little nerve endings, and as I go faster with that extension, they're stimulated more to do an opposite reaction. So they tighten or get excited. Okay? So people then may experience some sort of neck pain from that. But more importantly, as I'm doing that, I'm then in the weakest position of my glenohumeral joint. And that's a forced abduction and lateral rotation. So as my head comes forward, okay, although I'm not necessarily moving that arm, I'm going into a more extreme relative abduction and lateral rotation movement. And in a very unstable joint already, I'm then forcing it into an extreme range of more instability. The chance of an impingement, and an impingement is me impinging normally the supraspinatus, which has a tiny little crevice, a tiny little hole in order to go through. I'm forcing that hole shut as I'm doing that movement. Now, in my bid to get big lats or strong lats, my chance for injury is greatly increased, not only from impingement, but also neck pain. Now, if I'm overworking or wearing out my supraspinatus, which stabilizes then my glenohumeral joint, I'm giving myself neck pain. I then go to some other exercise like the bench press, okay? I now have one of my rotator cuffs which now can't stabilize my glenohumeral joint, and the muscles in my neck, the levator scapulae, are now overstimulated from the muscle spindles, and they go into a relative shortened position. So I may start looking like this. Okay, that might be familiar to some. Now from that, I've got these muscles here called the scalenes and this muscle here called the sternocleidomastoid, which then get overworked or hypertrophy. And hypertrophy just means the increase in muscle size. So they start pulling further forward, okay? As they pull further forward, my rib cage then may depress, okay? As that depresses, my diaphragm, my main breathing muscle, becomes less efficient, we then get what we call an upper cross syndrome. Okay, I then go to my bench press. If my range of motion is too far, if I'm coming down to here, okay, to my chest, which some people do, okay, again, you're opening up the world for a rotator cuff tear of the subscapularis, which is a rotator cuff on the other side of the scapula, which helps again stabilize your shoulder, along with your latissimus dorsi, which comes underneath and attaches up here and tries to pull your arm into that medial adduction movement. And then try and do bench press and find that with an unstable glenohumeral joint, I'm more likely then to injure myself on bench press. I'm more likely to injure myself on the pull down and other things that need or require my shoulder girdle or arm action, which I'm sure you can imagine is quite a few. The ultimate point is, if there's ever a point, is do not do a behind the neck pull down. There's no further benefit than doing a front pull down, but your chance of injury drastically decreases. So if you want injury reduction, but you want enhanced performance, then do it in the front. If you do it behind, you open up this world of issues. And you may be thinking, you may be watching this and thinking, well, I've done it for years and I've got away with it. The point is, you got away with it, but you're an outlier, you're on the fringe. Most people will develop upper cross syndromes or issues around the neck or impingement that go beyond the lat pull down, that will affect any push or pull-in movements of the upper body. So I'm hoping that made sense and it's more clearer than mud. But if it didn't make sense, if you want more clarity, then please feel free to contact me via my website. So the website is onezenacademy.com. If you go to the contact page, ping me a message, I will definitely get back to you. I believe in information and education for everyone. And if you want more of this juicy information, or you want to jump on one of my courses to become a personal trainer or sports therapist, or maybe both, because they normally run one after the other, then book in. We run these workshops in these courses in Milton Keynes at the moment in the UK. We are going to Bristol, we are going to Brighton, another towns beginning with B probably, Birmingham, Manchester, and we will then go further afield into other countries, and distance learning is available. Please feel free to drop me a line. Alternatively, listen to my podcast, One Zen Fitness, downloadable on iTunes, Spotify and Podbean, and download that information into your brain, become the sponge that we know you can be, and help more people. My name has been Kieran, it still is. Thank you very much.